What is going on YouTube? In today's video, we're going to be doing pretty much part one of the build for the V8 Tacoma. So I'm naming this project the LSX-Runner because I'm basically going to lower the Tacoma to make it into an X-Runner. And I'm putting an LS in it, so I know LSX-Runner. So perfect name for that. So the motor's out. Motor's actually in the shop, and I'll show you guys in a few. We're going to go outside. I want to show you guys the parts truck that I got for a transmission. And then we'll go over what the plans are, if we're going to turbo, supercharge, what the aftermarket parts are and stuff. So let's dive into it. Let's go. All right, so here's the 03 Avalanche that I bought. Again, for those of you that didn't see the first video, motor had 125,000 miles on it. Ran perfect oil pressure, good compression. So I bought this for $450, and I would recommend anybody that wants to do whether it's a first LS swap like me, or you've done a bunch, you probably already know this. The cheapest way to do an LS swap is to buy a whole vehicle. So I paid $450 for this because the customer was gonna junk it because the frames rotted. And I already sold enough parts off of it that I got my money back, and I made $200. So as of now, I got a free motor and I made $200. So you can't really beat that. And I still have bumpers and I still have parts for sale. If I don't sell them in the next few weeks, I'll probably just scrap the whole thing. And even when I scrap it, I'll still get $100, $150 for the whole shell. So can't go wrong. Go on Marketplace, find yourself a truck that the frames rotted, super common, at least in my area, New England, and buy one of these for, even if you pay $800, you're still gonna make your money back by the time you sell the fenders and stuff. I would recommend you buy like a Silverado if you can, because the Silverados are more sought after as far as like fenders and stuff. The Avalanche, at least in my area, there's not a lot of them, so parts are a little harder to sell. But I already made my money back and made money, so I'm not really worried about it. Let's walk over to the Colorado. I bought an 07 Colorado, and this was a hell of a find because these here come with the AR5 transmission that I want, the 5-speed. And looking at junkyards near me, just for the transmission, if I type in 07 Colorado, I need a tranny, all the junkyards near me want starting at $900. So I was scrolling through Marketplace and I found this little truck here. And if you see the gap on the bed there, guess what happened? Frames rotted. See there's a manual. Let me see if the batteries is charged. I'll show you guys the mileage. Come on now. 98.8. So I know it was an older gentleman who drove this. I know he didn't beat on it. So this is going to be the best chance I have to get a good transmission. I drove this truck on the trailer. I drove it when I got here. The frame is like bad, but it's still drivable. So I know that all the gears goes in easy and there's no grind. So this is literally best case scenario. I could buy a transmission from a junkyard and find out that, you know, third gear is gone, which is like a common issue on this transmission for people that are making big power. But there's people pushing 700-800 horsepower out of this tranny. And the reason they blow out third gear on most of them is because they're basically power shifting the thing. I don't plan on driving that crazy, but I'm talking like that now, I guess. Maybe I will be banging third gear, but either way, I paid $700 for this truck, and I haven't parted out anything on this truck. So if I can make $500 back and get the tranny for $200, you know, the good thing about this truck is the bed has no rust. The doors have no rust. The fenders are good. The hood's good. Other than the frame, this thing is actually pretty mint. And the bumper, whoever put some freaking floor mats in here to patch the rot hole. I don't know what that's all about. But the body is actually mint. So I should definitely be able to get most of my money back, if not all, from this truck here. All right, here she is. I took her out of the truck, pressure washed it, and I had to needle scale the side because there was a lot of, rotted material on the side. Like the paint was like rotting away, and some of the block was like rusty, and there was like flaking off. So I needle scaled the whole side of it to make sure there wasn't any paint holes or anything. And both sides are good. Again, I live in New England, so anyone else watching this in Florida or somewhere else won't run into this. But where I live, everything's rusty, unfortunately. So here it is, the free motor. Made my money back and got a 125,000 mile motor for free that I know runs good. And that's the thing with buying like a used motor that's already been pulled. You have to rely on that person being honest that the motor ran and built good oil pressure. This one here, I know it ran. I know it had good oil pressure. I know it had good compression. So if you can buy something that you can hear it run, obviously most of the time that's not a choice. But so enough with the bullshit. Let's get to, is it going to be turbo or supercharged or NA? Definitely not NA, because NA is cool, but it's kind of boring. I am going to go with a turbo. My Audi is supercharged and I love it. But I think a turbo, I've always wanted to do like an actual turbo build from scratch. So this is it. I'm going to do a turbo on this. I'll walk over to the bench. I'll show you guys some parts that I got, and I'll show you guys the list of parts that I plan on getting. And then obviously when I get those parts in and I start to tear this motor apart, I will make videos and show you guys everything I'm doing so you guys can follow along. And let's go check it out. All right, here's some of the goodies that I got. This is nothing for the motor. This is just like mostly special tools that I want to have, because this is probably not going to be my only LS build. I'm probably going to do more in the future. But anyway, we'll go through the list here quick. So the plan for this, these are the parts. An on-3 turbo 7875. Obviously, I'll need an intercooler kit and all that, but once we get there, I'll just order something then. I know all the, wastegate, blow-off valve, all that stuff that I need. I don't have to pick that now. Gonna do BTR cam. I haven't picked yet if I'm gonna run a Truck Norris. I was gonna do a sloppy stage 2. I think the new one now is called the best cam. I haven't done a ton of research on it. I'm actually having trouble finding I found one video where it shows the chop. So basically, I'm not gonna pick a cam that's gonna make me every single horsepower. You know what I mean? Like if I'll sacrifice 20 horsepower, 10 horsepower for another cam if it has a nicer chop. Like I'm not building this to drag race. I just wanted to have a very, very choppy idle. And obviously with the turbo, I can just turn the boost up and I'll make more power. So I'm not really worried about, oh my God, this, like if I pick a Truck Norris cam, I'm not worried about like, oh, you should have done a sloppy stage 2 or a BTR stage 2 turbo cam. It's like Richard Holdener says, every cam is a turbo cam. Like people are always like, oh, a Truck Norris cam is not really good for a turbo. You want this. It's like, no, there's many, many dyno videos of people running a Truck Norris cam, and it makes really good power. It's your cam is not your limiting factor. Obviously, your cam will help, but don't be stuck on a cam just because someone runs it and they make good power. Every cam can make good power. You can run a turbo on a stock cam and it'll make good power. But in my case, I do want that choppy idle. So probably gonna run a BTR cam. That's what I've been liking so far, just because they make really good stuff, honestly. I'm gonna go with the BTR valve spring set. I think they have a 550 and then have a 600 lift dual spring. So I think I'm gonna go with a dual. Again, I'm not 100% set on these, but definitely gonna do the BTR push rods. I'm gonna replace my lifters while I'm in there because the 5.3s are kind of known for it. Not so much the 5.3s, Gen 3s. It's mostly on Gen 4s that they collapse. But you still get the lifter tick on the Gen 3s. So 125,000 miles. Why not just throw some new lifters in there and new trays too? If I'm already in there, I want to put the motor in and not have to pull it out again, even though I can do those in the car. But I think 125,000 miles out of stock ones, it's probably gonna work still, but I want to do new stuff that is a good quality. and then 80-pound injectors. I don't know if I'm gonna go with FIC or if I'm just gonna run the cheaper Deca 80-pounders. And for the engine management, I'm gonna do Terminator X. Been reading a lot, been seeing a lot of videos on Terminator X, and I really like their setup, how easy it is to set up. Their tuning software on the laptop is actually really nice. I'm not a tuner by any means. I'm probably gonna get the Terminator X because it self-learns, and then once it's like drivable, I'll most likely find a shop that really knows LS's near me, and then bring it there and have them actually tune it, because most shops will still do Terminator X tuning. So I'll have a professional do it once I'm done, but it's nice to be able to start the car or the truck and drive it without having an actual tune on it. So that's cool. The Terminator X does that. And then last thing, obviously I showed you guys already the AR5 transmission. We got a low mileage one. Now we're gonna go on to the adapters and the tools that I got. So first one, AR5. This is the Fatbot Engineering. This is the adapter plate. Comes with everything you need: bleed line, clutch line, the spring string you need, the new bearing, all the hardware. So this allows you to bolt up a Aisin AR5 to a 4L60E bell housing. So this bell housing is basically what came out of that truck that I just pulled the motor out, the 03 Avalanche. I actually did buy this separate just because I sold that transmission on a marketplace, and I didn't want to list the transmission for sale without the bell housing. So I wanted to sell that complete, and this on eBay was only like 80 bucks. So I just bought this after I sold that transmission. It's just easier to sell a transmission that's complete. I sold it complete with a transfer case, everything, the front shaft, everything one piece, for 400 bucks. So got most of my money back right there, and someone got a really good deal because they got a transfer case, a tranny, and a front drive shaft for 400 bucks, and the tranny was fine, shifted fine. I actually drove that truck. So we got this here, the adapter kit, and then we have the harmonic balancer puller. Yeah, I have a bunch of pullers that I can use that it will work, one of those regular pullers, but I wanted something heavy duty, beefy, that's, kind of made for an LS. So I got the OEM tools one. Reviews on this was awesome. They do have a $23 version of this here. This was like 50 or 60, I think. They have a cheaper version of this, and then it's, reviews are mixed. So I wanted to buy somewhat quality before I bought the cheap one. This here is just an Amazon flex plate holder. So it has like a flex plate, like says teeth on it. So this will go to your block, bolts down to your block, and then this will hold your flywheel if you're a manual, or your flex plate. It'll let you torque all the bolts in the back and on the front of the motor. So it'll let you do all the flex plate bolts, clutch bolts, or the front, even on the front crank bolt, which is I forgot what the torque is, but it's very high. People say this hold up, so you don't have to have somebody holding the other end or anything. With a pry bar. And this here is the ring square tool. It's adjustable, so you can adjust to the bore. Then you put the ring in the bore, push down with this so it pushes evenly. And then make sure the rings is square on the bore, and then you can measure your ring gap. So I'm gonna be doing 30 thousandths ring gap on the top and on the bottom ring. So this, I don't really need this. You can use a piston and just turn it upside down and push the ring down, but this was so cheap and it's made in USA, why not have it? Then I got the alignment tool for the crank and the oil pan adapter. So that this here pretends like the oil pan is still there for you to center your front and the rear cover. And then this tool here will center your rear cover and your front cover. So you can tighten that up. Once it's centered, you can just press a seal in it and you're good. So this here, I bought an engine crane, and the guy had it sitting right next to it, and he's like, oh, this goes with it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. This is like an $80 LS plate. And I was literally just looking for an engine crane, and the guy just gave me this with it. I paid $120 for the engine crane on a marketplace, and this came with it. And this alone is like 75, 80 bucks shipped. So can't go wrong with that. The housing I already showed you guys. Then I got the BTR ring compressor. This one here is specific to the 5.3. Obviously, the 6.0 has a 4-inch bore. So if I ever do a 6.0, I'll just buy the 6.0 version. It's $50. It's not really cheap, but it's easier work. Awesome. They have a little lip here, a little bridge, and that literally drops perfectly into the block of the LS, and it centers itself. So all you have to do is drop the piston in here, clock the rings the way you want to clock it, push the piston down, compresses the ring, and literally just push it with 2 fingers and it goes right in. So you don't have to use those stupid plier ones or the old school sheet metal with the Allen head, which is time consuming and pain in the ass. These are awesome. So this here is basically a tapered adapter. And then just a couple more things. We have the ARES or ARES, however you say it. Has a lifetime warranty, has really good reviews. There are Amazon branded or Amazon no name brand for this for a third of the price. They have like this really thin bearing that people say comes apart after like using it twice. This one here has really good reviews, and people are saying that this is pretty heavy duty, and again, it's lifetime warranty. So pay a little extra, get something decent. Probably won't use this more than a few times, but it's nice to have. I want to have decent tools. And the last thing, just a valve spring compressor. This is just an Amazon cheapie. I don't see how this can be made trash. You know what I mean? This is pretty thick steel, pretty thick aluminum. The only thing that can be like trash on here will be the bolts. And if that's the case, I have hardened bolts. So all you're doing is pushing the spring down so you can replace the spring. I don't see how this could be bad. There's not a lot of like bad information on these, like, oh, these are trash, don't use them. People seem to be okay with it. And then just a GM starter that I bought off Rock Auto. That's a factory starter, AC Delco. So this is what I got so far as tools. I haven't bought any of the aftermarket stuff yet, but as soon as I buy the stuff, I'm gonna move the engine to the other side of the shop next to a bench, and we'll start pulling the heads, and whatever I do to the motor, I will show you guys the process, and we'll put it together and start tearing the truck apart. Once the motor's done, remove the motor out of the Tacoma and start prepping to fit this one in. So yeah, guys, looks like we are gonna be boosted. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, not online, just people like family and friends. They're like, why are you doing a Tacoma? Everyone's like, you should be doing an S10. And I was like, I get it, but an S10 is kind of like a 69 Mustang with an inline 6. Like, everyone expects an S10 to have a V8. Everyone expects a 69 Mustang that had an inline 6 to be swapped to a V8. When's the last time you saw a fast Toyota truck? You don't, you know what I mean? People run them till 500,000 miles or till the frame rots away. Like, you don't see as many swaps on Toyotas as you see on other cars. So I already have the truck. The frame is brand new, replaced. Why the hell would I buy something else when I can make it a total sleeper? Like, if you lose a race in a Corvette to a Tacoma, like, just sell the Corvette. Don't even, you know what I mean? So I think it'll be cool. It'll make a use out of my truck that I already own, instead of letting it sit under a tree as a plow truck that it snows here maybe, 3 or 4 times a year. So I think it'll be a cool build. And again, you don't see a lot of Tacomas that are like tricked out with engine swaps, at least around here. Maybe in Florida or other places, there's tons of Tacomas out there, Tundras and stuff. But anyway, that's my build. If you want to follow along, make sure to subscribe if you already subscribed. Thank you for being here all this time. If you're new, welcome to the channel. And stay tuned for more updates on the build. Take care.